go back and watch how we play. All right, 1 minute here. Apple's getting some love today as well. Apple pushing the pre-market high right here. Okay, so for me, as soon as the bell opens, I have a rule when stocks are gapping up that I take some profits. So I have to take some profits just right out the gate, and then I'll talk through kind of. I'm going to try to just focus on NVDA and maybe one other stock today, since we had some people that were asking for me to do that yesterday. So if I jump around, I apologize. The goal is to focus a little bit today on one or two. Market is open. So immediately we broke pre-market high. So if that was something that you had an auto order in, you should be in it, right? Now, if you didn't, right? If you didn't have that order, it's hard to try to catch that, right? And the reason this one's dangerous, the most dangerous, is because you get stuff like this that happens that it will break out and then it'll pull back and then kind of start to roll over on you, or it has a possibility to do that, right? For me, I'm in, and I'm going to try to take this um, to that 117 level, but I'm only in half a position. And the reason I'm only in half a position is because I want to leave room just in case it does do a quick pull. Looks good, looks good. So I'm just watching this. I'm trying to squeeze out what I can here on this first initial push. I do expect a pull back, right? So as a scalper, this would be an area to take some profits right into this, in my opinion, right into this 111 level. So I am going to do that. And so one of the things that I want to show you this morning is this actual chart, right? Um, the actual chart of the option, because it's important. Again, NVIDIA, I have to kind of keep a watch on it, so I may have to cut this. But if this is the actual chart of the option, right? So this is the chart that we're playing, okay? So when you look at this first candle, do you see the range? Was anybody watching the price range of this first candle? So the price went as low as 165. It went as high as 215. So if you're market ordering in, you could have gotten filled at 215. And right now the stock, all right, it went as high, let's just say 250. So you were able to take, 215 to 250, 35 cents, right? That's a little win. But if you didn't market order in and you're just watching this and you put in a bid that is not, market ordering in, I put in a bid at 180. And so literally from 180 to 215, right? That's 35 cents. So instead of just profiting the 35 cents that I, made here at 250, I actually doubled that profit. And so it's these little nuances that really help your P&L, understanding how to do these things, when to do them. And if you want to market order in some just to get in, that's fine. But what I would tell you is, at least for me in scalping and the way that I've done things, I am a lot more successful when I don't market order in and market order out. There are times to do it, and you can do it, but I would leave some room to try to get filled closer, to the bid side on the down side. Does that make sense, guys? Does everybody understand that? Everybody understand bid, ask, all that kind of stuff? Felix, how did I determine a bid 180? That's a great question. So what was happening on NVIDIA, people were market ordering in and it was shooting up and it was shooting up. But I saw a lot getting filled around that 180 level, right? Between 170 and 180. And so I wanted to be more aggressive and not try to get filled at the low, right? So instead of saying, hey, let's put in something around 160, I wanted to be more aggressive and make sure that I got filled. And so 180 was that level that I thought it could fill me. You could get the fills on, because the spreads, some were getting filled at market order at 215, and then the stock pulls back from $1.10 to $9.50 and it drops, and you see that drop, right? And so it's like, now's the time to put that order in where you think you can get filled and where orders are going through. I hope that makes sense. So the other thing about this, guys, is these trades are quick. If you missed it, it's fine. These things happen almost every day, literally, in the market. There's some stock that is showing some strength, that is showing some life that, we can get into. And it happens a lot more when the market's not pulling back like this, right? All these times, it happens a lot. Okay, so the open range breakout just happened, right? So we had this range that's set up. So as a scalper, you see that we broke highs. And for everybody that, trades with me, what's supposed to happen when you break highs? Yeah, you should get a volume increase and a push up and away that allows for a proper retest, right? And so we need volume to increase. We got it, right? See that volume bar? It should push up and away. And so if you're a buyer of this breakout, you should expect for a rejection to come up here so that it can retest the flag that it just created. And again, if you look up auction theory, this is all the market is. It's just one big auction theory, right? Everybody is saying, hey, buy, sell, and they're at the auction and they're saying, hey, buy this, I'll buy it. They're going back and forth. And so what they're doing on these retests is they're making sure that demand is enough to continue to push the price higher. So one of the things I'm watching here is the Qs. The SPY just broke its low, right? The Qs just broke their low. Is NVIDIA going to be able to rip to 117 if the Qs and the SPY are falling? Well, sure, it could, but it's going to be a whole heck of a lot harder, right? So if we can get just some buying to come in, then I think NVIDIA will easily close that gap. So do you have a stop entry now for this? Yes, great question. The way that I look at this now is we were able to take some profits on the short dated quick trade that we wanted to happen. I left room to add, right? Well, now that we've pushed up and away, I don't want to add anymore. What that means is if I get stopped out of this trade, I'm just going to set up a brand new trade. So what I am doing with this trade now, with what I have left, we're up, over 50%, and I don't want this to go red on me. So I'll put a stop on this at about, a 20% gain, just a trail stop, just to let it keep running. Right? And let's see if we can get it up there. If we get the Qs and the SPY to just trade even sideways a little bit, then maybe NVIDIA can close that gap. But if it does roll over, I will stop out. I will look to set up a new trade depending upon what the indexes are doing. On watch, Kava 913. So he's playing Kava. Yeah, somebody mentioned this yesterday. I guess it's because you're playing this one. Yeah, this one looks great. I mean, this one's like a picture perfect chart, right? You know how he always talks about the bird patterns and all that stuff. If you don't know what that is, what I would do is snip this chart, right, and put it on your wall so you'll know what these amazing charts look like. Okay. We are coming up on 100% here. So I'm going to start putting in some more orders to get filled on some of my cells here. Okay. Yeah, how many of you guys hit this NVIDIA trade? Was it too fast for you, or were you able to get it? And this is what Nate does. Like, again, he's a lot nicer than I am. He came in, he told you exactly what he was going to buy, right? He said, hey, this is what we're looking at. So here, for you guys that hit it, congrats. Amazing job making it your own trade. For you guys that didn't get it, you know, what can we do to help you guys to be able to capture these trades? Is it like, do you have any idea of what we can do better to help you capture them, right? Well, what I would tell you is that's why I pulled up, my chart. My buy thing. I said, hey guys, I've got this teed up and ready to go, right? So if it was too fast, this, make sure you've got it teed up, right? Make sure you're ready to go. Make sure you've got whatever you need to get into the trade so you don't have to type things in, right? It's like how many ever you want to buy. If you're trying to buy, like, I've got 50 in there, but if you wanted to buy like 1 or 100 or whatever you feel comfortable with, have that in there, have it ready to go so that you can come in here and you can market order in. And what I do is I actually have 2 of these. I have 2 of these going on, right? So one of them is going to be for limit orders, and one of them is for market orders. So you see how I have 2 of these going on, right? One of these is so that I can come in here and I can say, hey, here's my limit order, here's my market order, and I don't have to sit here and type in NVIDIA on my right here on my symbol. I don't have to come in here and click on the option chain to figure out what option I need to trade. I don't have to press all these buttons. I've got it set up, teed up, and ready to go, right? And maybe that'll help you if you could do that as well. Explain the exact order process for entry type of order where you select the entry price. Okay, well, I'll try to do that real quick. So once, Nate was nice enough to say, hey, this is exactly what I'm playing. And this is what I'm going to do, right? And so once he says that, get your, whatever it is that you use to place the orders, get those pulled up. For me, I have multiples of them pulled up so that I can, if I want to do market orders, I can. If I want to do limit orders, I can, right? And I've got the tape that I'm watching right there to see where things are going across. That's just these, right? That's just these red and green numbers. So like right now, 12 going across, 15, 55 just got sold at market right there, right? So this is me setting everything up. And then, do you remember my if-then statements before the market opened on NVIDIA? So I told you, I said, hey, here's what I am going to do, right? So ETG, you said explain the exact order setup, process for entry, type of order, where you select the entry price, why, based upon the price action pre-market. We did all that at the very beginning of pre-market, remember? Like, we went over all of it. I said, I'm going to play this one of 3 ways. It's going to pull back to 108, gap fill, great. I'm going to play it if it pulls back, doesn't quite come to gap fill, and then does an open range break. Right? That was the third one. I'm sorry, the second one. The third one was if we break pre-market highs, I'm going to buy it. This one's more dangerous because you're buying this breakout. You're paying up. Right? So once the market opened, within 1 or 2 minutes, did I have to think about anything? Right? Did I have to think about the plan? Did I have to think about what I needed to do? Did I have to think about, man, I need to buy, or should I buy, or should I do this? Yeah, no, Janice, I don't want to make these decisions in the heat of battle, right? Especially if I'm new. I want to make these decisions beforehand and just follow the plan. And so you can do this many ways. You know how I talk about if you're buying shares, you can put buy stop orders in. You can put conditional orders in. You can put in, you know, all kinds of things that help you get triggered on whatever your plan was, the pullback, the open range breakout, the break of high. And then what I did, the thing that I thought about was as soon as I am triggered in, I immediately am looking at the tape to see the spreads of what is happening and what's going across. And it was as high as 215 and as low as like 160. So this break here on this pullback right here, unfortunately, it trail stopped me out of my remaining position of the day trade. Right? Now, if I was manually watching this, I would probably give it to here because it's just VWAP. But I had a hard stop in because when you're teaching, a lot of times you'll forget and you don't stop out when you're supposed to. So I had a hard stop in that just stopped me out. But if I was, again, just from a technical perspective, if I did not, I would actually let this try to break VWAP. Because, I mean, you're I'm still above, right? I'm still well above the entry. So let's see if this would be a good place to add again. VWAP is volume weighted average price, and what it is on my chart is this. So it actually did break VWAP. Okay, so I had pre-market data on, but this line width, this one right here. Do you see this? Do you see this like grayish? It's not gray. What color is that, guys? Orange, maybe? I don't know. Whatever color that is. Tan. That's your VWAP. And what it means is your total volume weighted at price is this level. So of everything that's traded today, volume says the average position is 110.83 right here. And you'll notice that it matches up with point of control, right, for today's price action. So give me one sec, guys. I want to see something about the Qs and the SPY. So if the Qs can come into this 456 range, I think this would be a bounce point. So here, I'll draw a box here, right? You see these people? Now, will it bounce and hold and go to all-time high? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do. But I think your first hit, one of the things that you'll often hear me say, your first hit usually holds. Your second hit's like a 50-50. The third hit's like 80-20 that it's gonna bounce. So I don't ever play the third one. So I would think we would bounce somewhere in this box area. Hey, sweetie. I love you.
I love you.
What?
I love you.
Have fun at school.
Yeah, that's not gonna
Okay. Forward. can we look at forward? Yeah, so Nate just got into forward. Yeah, I mean, you remember yesterday when we were talking about the edge of the TTM squeeze, right? Like you're literally just hitting your first buy opportunity here, right? You've pulled back into the ADMA. So, I mean, the chart looks great, looks fine, and this is quote unquote the opportunity, right? So instead of seeing a pullback as negative, you see it as an opportunity, right? You see the blueberries that you can go get because you've got the cage. So I actually just got triggered into another trade, guys. Again, I'm playing this one with shares. This is an open range breakout. This is a good open range breakout that I think can explain it. So let me take away all the lines here. So do you see how there was consolidation here? And then we start breaking up, and this is your opening range of trading, and now we're pushing up. Yeah, this is PLTR. So again, I've only focused on NVIDIA, so this is stock number 2. So I'm not going to talk about any other stocks. I tried limiting it to 2 today. But this was a good example of an open range break. And the way you want these to work, right, you've got this gap that you can fill up here. You want the volume to increase. You want it to push up and away so that it can come back and retest these levels and consolidate and then try to break up and fill that gap. Right? So for you guys that wanted me to focus on less today, was today a little bit better for you? Right? I just focused on NVIDIA. And I just mentioned the second one. I think I've done pretty decent about, keeping it simple. For you guys that wanted it a little bit slower pace. So if you guys like NVIDIA still, right, as the cues come into this area, right, into this box, I would be willing to take shots, right? So for me, my shots today are, PLTR and NVIDIA. And so as the cues come into this area, maybe we can break down into the gap on NVIDIA and maybe create a failed breakdown, and or maybe it rolls over and fills the gap and we can give it another shot. Yeah, so the thing about like understanding range, right? Understanding, hey, AMD has range, NVIDIA has range today. Like for me, the range on NVIDIA was, the range on AMD was here. So, Byron, do you see how yesterday, right? This is the timestamp. And so if we come over here and we look at AMD, the range on AMD was here. Let me the time to play AMD, in my opinion, was right here. Right? As you're breaking over the zone to have range to the next zone. Right? So that's what I mean by AMD has clear room now. And so the reason I wanted to play NVIDIA today is because it had the clear room today. Right? I hope that makes sense. Okay, we got 1 minute. I'm going to pass it over to our fearless leader, and I'll be back on later today, and we can do another quick lesson. I will talk to you guys later. Are you ready for it, Mr. Bear? Did Nate respond? I didn't see him respond. Yeah, I recorded it. Yes, RM.